Good evening and welcome to the PI show, the only personal injury show in Australia. My name's Harry Nowicki and this is my colleague Tony Carbone. We're here just talking about cases and decisions throughout the courts of Australia about personal injuries, people who are injured and what happens in these cases. Tony, a recent case decided in New South Wales is a 10-year-old boy fell out of a bunk bed, hurt his head. The court awarded him $853,000. Is that a fair result?
Well, it is because he fractured his skull, Harry, and he's got brain damage, and he also needs a lot of treatment in the future. That's the evidence in court.
But who does he sue?
Well, he sued the occupiers of a house. He was sleeping over at a mate's house. I think it was his first sleepover. And
As a 10-year-old?
Yeah. He was 10 years old when he got injured. I think it went to court when he was 15.
Yep. And is it fair? I mean, suing someone's parents for a sleepover?
They're covered by the householder's insurance, you would have thought, in this case. I don't think...
So who pays?
The insurance company would pay, Harry.
And
the occupier of the property, which is the parents, responsible at law, once the judge has found that they're negligent, and the insurance company picks up the bill.
But I mean, what happened? I mean, why the parents? Why would the parents be at fault?
Well, he's sleeping on the top bunk, and there was no rails to protect him from falling out, and there was no ladder. Apparently, the evidence was that it was damaged, and they removed it so that someone wouldn't be injured.
The ladder for the bunk bed?
The ladder for the bunk bed, and also the rails across the guardrail was removed. Yeah, the evidence was that it was damaged, and they removed it so that no one would get injured on the damaged.
The parents just removed it,
and then they breached the Australian standard, which says that you need a guardrail
on a bunk and a ladder.
And a ladder, yeah.
So, and what happened? Did he fall? Did he trip? Did he jump?
Well, the evidence was there was two versions. One version was that he sort of slipped, something to do with his sock, and he's fallen down and struck his head on the chest of drawers. The other version is he's skylarking, Geronimo, and he jumps. But it's not plausible. I don't think it's not plausible that you just Geronimo and jump out.
But don't kids get up to mischief?
They do, but I don't know. I mean, just the way I've read the facts, it's very tight. I don't know. I think that.
But I think the judge found that there were two versions, one that he was skylarking, one that he just sort of slipped and fell, I think on a chest of drawers. But it's interesting, the judge said, look, the way he damaged his head is consistent with slipping and falling rather than jumping.
Rather than jumping, that's right.
So I mean, I think the judge sort of looked after the plaintiff.
He did.
Or gave the plaintiff the benefit of the doubt. And you say household insurance covers it. What does that mean?
Well, what happens is most people take out insurance to protect themselves in case of fire or whatever else, what is damage, flood damage. But in addition, most people take out contents insurance. And because this was part of the contents, the bed that you picked up there.
What happens if they don't have contents insurance?
There's issues. There's problems.
There are problems?
There's problems. The householders are responsible personally, and it causes problems.
And
that's why most people should insure. I think most people are insured. You cover your house. Say if there's any defects arising from the house, like structural problems, and let's say a tile falls on your head, that would be picked up by the house insurance. And if some piece of equipment or furniture injures someone, like happened in this case, it's picked up by the contents insurance.
But does this mean that kids can't go for sleepovers, and you're going to every time someone falls out of a bed, parents are going to be sued?
Harry, when the law was changed in 2004 in Victoria, you'll find that the number of claims under public liability has dropped significantly. It's reduced from probably a couple of thousand a year to who knows what the number is at the moment. So I don't think that's an issue anymore.
But so if someone falls out of a bed, there's no claim unless there's a serious injury, significant injury.
There's got to be a significant injury, number one, and secondly, you've got to have negligence on the part of the occupier. If the handrails were there and he's still fallen out, I think it would have had problems. The child in this case would have lost.
So even though he had brain damage,
he would have lost his case.
Okay, so in his $853,000 a fair result, it seems a lot of money.
I think it is because he's very young and he's got a long life ahead of him. The judge said that. Also, a large part of that would be made up of future medical like expenses. The evidence is he's going to need counselling throughout the course of his life, and there's also suggestion he won't be able to get the best out of himself in terms of vocation and work.
Isn't it a bit isn't it a bit speculative or
no, look, there would have
far-fetched?
No, I don't think so. I mean, with the medical treatment, doctors can give evidence about, he had permanent brain damage as kids, so, they can give evidence about prognosis. And also, loss of earnings. I mean, you can look at the family background. He might have had other siblings or mother and father were well-paid people. Who knows? It's hard to say. But their factors that kick in as well. His father could have been a doctor, it could have been anything, could have been a school teacher, who knows? We don't know. And they're factors you look at.
Okay, so, all right, but turning from one sort of case to another, the case decided in New South Wales again of a prisoner who was attacked in jail. The judge awarded the prisoner $253,000 in damages. How's that possible?
An interesting case, Harry. I mean, they were in some sort of a courtyard area where he got stabbed in the neck. And mind you, he'd been sort of forewarned that someone was going to attack him. And, when he was approached by the authorities, we think you're at risk. He said, no, I've got no issues. But, it's amazing how,
But prison's a dangerous place. Someone's broken the law and stabbed him. But why is a prison liable?
Well, there's glaring deficiencies in the standard of care in this case because there was no CCTV footage. There was not enough prison guards around. There was 36 prisoners in the area, I think. There was also a tower that was unmanned. They said that the towers in operation was unmanned, so you couldn't see where...
But how can you patrol every 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a prison full of potentially violent inmates?
You can't patrol. It's a reasonable duty to carry, not an absolute duty. But here, what happened was a breach of a reasonable standard because there was a lot of glaring inadequacies in the way they looked after these prisoners.
All right, that's all we've got time for at the moment. We'll come back to that case. I think we've got a break and some messages, and we'll be back soon.